And we're back, y'all. Thank you for watching today. Go ahead and hit that like button, my people. You know that helps us out a ton. And of course, it helps you because it helps us keep bringing you these stories every day. Now, y'all, today I think that your boy, the illustrious sub 10% approval rating mayor of Chicago, Brandon Johnson, I think he sank to a new low, y'all. I think he sank to a new low, and frankly, you have to see it to believe it. He sank to a new low. Today he made an address to the UN asking for help for Chicago against Donald Trump. I'm gonna say that again, y'all. Today, your boy addressed the UN, not even in person, but through some kind of video web conference call or something, asking for help from the UN against Donald Trump. Now, as I started to edit this video, I just got the sense that he's like, y'all ever watch Star Wars or any of these outer space dramas where one state is pleading to the Federation for some help? That's the sense that I got looking at this guy today. So y'all, we're gonna have some fun today. I'm gonna show you some clips from his address. I'm just gonna string them all together. But in the interest of fun and not taking this illustrious sub 10% approval rating mayor seriously, I'm gonna put a nice little outer space filter on it. You can have fun with that. I'm not gonna do a big long lead in, y'all. Let's just jump into this illustrious sub 10% approval rating UN address. Let's take a look. But before we do, y'all, we are launching our official Patreon. So if you want to be a founding member on our Patreon, we have just 222 slots, y'all. If you want to be a founding member, go down, click the very first link in the description, and you're gonna feel good about this, y'all, because believe it or not, we are an actual paralegal school, and we help people get their paralegal certificate and get working in the paralegal field. And all of the proceeds from our Patreon, when you enroll as a founding member, all of that is gonna go to scholarships for people who would like to study at our institute, y'all. So click that first link down in the description. Join us as a founding member, y'all. This deal will not come back. Now let's get into the story.
And of course, to our colleagues here at the United Nations, diplomats, human rights officers, and independent experts from the Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights, I truly thank you for your steadfast attention to the troubling developments in the United States, and especially right here in my beloved city, the city of Chicago. Many of you have already raised concerns about the deployment of the National Guard in U.S. cities, the militarization of law enforcement, the abusive immigration crackdown, and other serious setbacks in the protection of fundamental rights. And on behalf of the city of Chicago, I want to acknowledge your statements and expressions of concern. We are here because the federal government under the Trump administration has failed to meet even the most basic expectations of transparency and accountability before this council. And by refusing to submit its Universal Periodic Review report and declining to appear for its review, this administration seeks to evade scrutiny for its violations of human rights, just as it has sought to evade accountability for its actions in cities like mine. This refusal to engage in good faith with international mechanisms for accountability and oversight is a moral failure. In Chicago, we live with the consequences of that moral failure every day. Families torn apart by immigration raids that have targeted daycare teachers, rideshare drivers, and restaurant cooks. Honest, hardworking, law-abiding people who contribute to the soul of Chicago, who literally make our city run. The federal government's immigration enforcement has been marked by violence and an assault on the dignity of all Chicagoans. Federal agents drag parents out of their vehicles in the pickup line for elementary schools. They throw neighbors supporting their neighbors to the ground and assault them. Right before Halloween, federal agents deployed tear gas on a children's neighborhood parade. This harm is not just concentrated on our immigrant communities, however. In Chicago's South Shore neighborhood, a proud, predominantly black community, federal agents carried out what can only be described as a military-style raid designed for social media, to be a spectacle for the world to witness. Helicopters circled overhead. Doors were kicked in. Homes were destroyed. Immigrant residents were detained in one van while black families, including children, were held in another. And as I close, I invite the UN's independent experts to visit Chicago to witness both our challenges and our progress firsthand. And I urge the Human Rights Council to consider additional measures of accountability, including a special session to examine the worsening human rights crisis in the United States. The people of Chicago and of this nation deserve a government that honors their dignity, not one that diminishes it. Thank you for your time, your attention, and your continued solidarity in the global fight for human rights. My Chief Strategy Officer, Sheila Betty, is here to take any of your questions or respond to any of the follow-up requests. Thank you all very much.
So after all of that, did the illustrious sub 10% approval rating mayor of Chicago get any sympathy from the attendees at the UN? Did they ask him any questions? And what your boy had to say, and what his emotional plea that he made from the cosmos just moments earlier, no, they didn't care.
Thank you very much, Mayor Johnson, for joining us from Chicago from a very busy time. We appreciate your time and contribution, and we hope that you will be succeeding in what you're doing in protecting everyone's rights in Chicago. Thank you very much for that. We have just, we're wrapping up. We have just a couple of minutes. I wanted to see if there's any member states that wish to take the floor and to address any of the panelists before we close, because I know that we ran a little bit out of time.
Now, y'all, this is just the latest installment in, well, I guess this is a series at this point, Powerless to Stop It. See, the illustrious sub 10% approval rating mayor of Chicago, he's powerless to stop anything. He's powerless, y'all. I'm just going to remind you of what happened yesterday. I'm going to make it very quick. I'm going to show you how a reporter said, "Hey, what are you doing?" And how he goes on this long rambling tirade about nothing. And then the reporter comes back around and says, but what are you doing? And at the end of the day, he can do nothing.
Hey, last night at a town hall, and again, to Jeff's question, you mentioned police officers responding to the executive order, sort of implementing it with agents regarding public property and the use of the federal government using that property. Can you tell me more about those incidents? What did police officers do that you were talking about?
Well, they just simply went over and asked that these individuals who are clearly identified as federal agents, that they not use, that they are prohibited from using the property, and there was compliance.
You know, you clearly believe that a lot of the actions of Border Patrol and ICE agents here are illegal and criminally illegal. I think you've been clear on that. What do you say to people who hear you say that and then don't see arrests? Why not have, if you believe what you believe, police officers arrest those agents?
Look, you can believe in what you believe and recognize that the unprecedented moment that we're in is going to require an evolution of how we approach government. You know, look, because you have a belief in something, and there are a lot of things that I fundamentally believe in, and people over time have demonstrated that as well. You know, whether it was, fighting for civil rights, women's rights, that it is.
All right, so this is a strategy, y'all. If you notice, he understood the question, but instead of actually answering the question, because the answer is there's nothing I can do. So instead of that, he picked out one word, believe, and then he focused on the word believe, and he talked for about 2-3 minutes on the word belief. And then he used that as a jumping point to ramble off about other things. Of course, never actually addressing the question. And just remember what the superintendent of the Chicago police said.
Our responsibilities when it comes to federal agents, and I've been asked these questions, we do not interfere with the duties and responsibilities of federal agents. We don't have to agree with it. It doesn't matter. You don't have to agree with it. We do not interfere with their orders. And when they go out to carry out their orders, they will do that the way that they're trained to do it and their understanding of what it is they have to do. Another one, CPD will not arrest and cannot arrest federal agents because someone deems what they're doing is illegal or unlawful. Their rules of engagement are different from CPD and other local law enforcement agents. We need to be clear about this.
And to his credit, the reporter came back and asked the question again. Of course, the illustrious sub 10% approval rating mayor of Chicago, Brandon Johnson, again went off on another rambling tirade, again not answering the question, because again, the only answer is there's nothing I can do.
What's stopping you from taking that action now?
Which action?
The arrests in particular.
Well,
just to be clear.
Again, I think it's going to be a matter of how local government finds innovative ways to hold this administration accountable. And we're doing that. And, as long as the people of Chicago know that whether it's my budget that we have put forth to protect Chicago, whether it's executive orders that we've put forth to protect Chicago, that the people of this city know that I'm fighting every single day against Donald Trump. And we're going to use every single tool that's available within the confines of my executive authority to protect Chicago and lead the way for the rest of the country.
So at this point, y'all, the illustrious sub 10% approval rating mayor of Chicago, Brandon Johnson, has about as much credibility as those Star Wars characters that were pleading to the Federation for help. I mean, he's kind of out there in that territory now. He's kind of just a character, or maybe a caricature would be a better word to use. It's kind of just a caricature. Now, I remember when I first started covering him, I'm like, I don't want to criticize him too much. But, the man's a caricature. He done it to himself. Anyway, y'all, let me know what you think about this. Do you think that his UN, what's going to come of this UN appeal? What's the UN going to do? What are they going to do? I mean, is there anything they can do? I don't think isn't he just wasting his time? I mean, doesn't he have better things to do? Let me know what you think down in the comments, y'all. But before you do, please stop, hit the share button. Share this video out over email, text message, WhatsApp, Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, all of your favorite social mediums. And of course, if you're not a subscriber, please do subscribe. To all of our subscribers and people who like these videos, y'all, check out our Patreon. We just launched it. We're starting to grow it, and we want you to be part of it. Our first 222 members are going to be our founding members, and all of your Patreon patronage, every cent is going to scholarships to help people get employed in the legal field, y'all. So that's going to be the first link down in the description. Click it out. Come on and join us, people. Thank y'all for watching. Love y'all. I'll see you back in the next one.